About to take this guy for a little spin. So, note the brake pedal there. It's like this little diaphragm thing. Shortest stopping distance in 1973, right?
Yep.
Alright, here we go.
I have like my
Alright, so add some weight to the back. Car's processing that.
put me and Brad back here, should be interesting.
Yeah, Brad, you hear that? There it is, so it raised up, and if you jump off, it'll then adjust again accordingly. I love the delay. So is there anything digital here? Or
Oh
is
God, no. it's pumps and fluid.
Wow.
Pumps and fluid, baby.
Love it. So let me start this. All right, we are recording.
All right, so do you want me to give you the quick, because this is like not driving a car.
It's like a spaceship. So it's a, what are we driving? A 73?
It's a 1973 Citroen SM, which stands for Sport Maserati. And so give you an idea, watch. The car always wants the steering to go center. So there, that is less than 360 from lock to lock.
Gotcha.
Now watch what happens when you let go. It'll naturally want to always, the wheels always want to go straight.
Holy crap, it goes all the way back.
It'll always go straight.
Interesting.
So we're gonna go do a U-turn in here, a loop, just so you can get an idea of the turning radius.
By the way, look at this, the shifter is amazing too.
It's like Bakelite molded
it's like Bakelite.
plastic.
Yeah, like all right, here we go.
So go over there and just try to do a full circle, and you'll get an idea of the turning radius.
So it's either going to be terrible or amazing. We'll find out.
Turn it tight all the way.
Oh, I see, yeah.
It wants to correct. You feel like you've never driven a car before, like you're really jerky.
Yeah.
Because it will overcorrect because it turns in a progressively tighter radius.
Interesting.
So we'll go out there.
Let's do it. Out in the streets. All right, so the brake pedal is like a spongy diaphragm rubber thing. What do you call? What would you call this? A rubber button?
It's called a button. Yeah, I think they call it nipple or
nipple.
Or button.
It's kind of nipply, and from from nothing to everything is like half an inch of travel or something.
We'll turn left. I want you to experience speed bumps. It's glorious. I mean, that is where this car.
Yeah.
Like people keep thinking, we'll turn right here. They keep thinking that this is like Cadillac Brougham, like wafting in the sense that you just sort of bounce along.
Mm-hmm.
But you feel the road, it just takes out all the imperfections like they don't even exist. You don't float over them, they disappear. So you'll see a pothole or something and you'll hear it, but you won't feel it.
Yeah.
Turn right. So down this street is a residentialist street. It's 25, which is fine.
Yeah.
But they put these big, like, after-the-fact speed bumps, which I can videotape them so you can see in this direction.
By the way, I gotta mention that we have glorious air conditioning in this thing right now, which is unbelievable.
In an old car.
Yeah.
Well, you know how I am about air conditioning. Even my rally
It's a good move.
So as you go along, see those big bumps there?
Yep.
So go a little faster.
A little faster.
Yeah, we're going. Let's go 30.
Oh shit! So on them.
Go right on. Just however. Just pretend like they're not there. Just go across them.
Oh no way! That's incredible. That's incredible. Those were like sizable speed bumps.
Those would take out a 911.
Oh, dude, no way.
We'll turn left.
So there was an opportunity there to miss half of them, and we just went right over them. So already very impressed. Did they rally these things too?
They did. They're actually were quite good at rallying. Honestly, I was thinking, I had this weird idea that I would actually take this on a coastal range rally or some kind of tour like that.
Yeah.
I've driven it twice in some minor hill section. I have no idea how they rallied it. The steering is so hypersensitive.
The steering alone is pretty gnarly.
Because this was the very first steering system that would adjust itself based on speed. So it's really sensitive low speed. As you get up to freeway speeds, it gets stiffer.
Yeah.
But when you're on a mountain road, you're going slower speeds. So you're turning, like the first time I drove it with the owner, it was Jerry Hathaway, who's sort of the god of Citroens in LA. He maintains Jay Leno's SM. took me on this gnarly mountain road out by Lancaster. Really, like second gear Porsche, 20 to 30 mile an hour. And there was guys cycling on it, and I was so nervous that I was going to hit a cyclist. I just drove down the middle of the road.
Yeah.
And I know he ended the drive pretty quick because he thought I was going to run into someone.
It's definitely very different. The steering is really bizarre. Just as you describe it, it wants to go back to center, and as you're turning, it's like, get back to center.
That's right.
And one thing that I noticed down here that isn't visible is it has a stopping distance on a dry road, and it's sort of like, it has, I'm guessing, are those meters?
Says, yeah, no, they're, let's see, distance, dry road, feet.
Feet.
So 50 miles an hour, if you stand on the brakes, it'll stop at 200 feet. 80 miles an hour, 400 feet. So you have to go to your old road and tracks where they have all that stopping crap.
Yeah.
Figure out what
That's
it is.
fantastic.
So the only thing that stopped working, which bums me out, is it's a Jaeger Couture clock.
Oh, wow.
And obviously it stopped it.
Yeah. Is it like ridiculous?
It's almost on time.
Expensive?
Look at that.
Right now, yeah,
it's right
kind
now
of
on time.
Kind of a, yeah, coincidental.
So there's your water temp.
Okay.
And it's sort of a vague suggestion, which is why this is your most important. When that light comes on red, you know that shit's going on.
Yep.
Gas gauge, it'll move all over and a light will come on, but it works generally, and that's oil temp. So I drove it yesterday in 90-degree weather, stop and go traffic for an hour in Orange County, just to do. I literally was intentionally doing a hot weather test, and it didn't overheat.
And we're there right now. I mean, what is it now? Like 85, maybe?
Yeah, 85.
We're just cruising around town.
You're actually doing surprisingly well. The few people who've driven this car, and there's only like 3 of us, they didn't go this far without pretty much frustrated because it's not a sports car.
Oh no, this is great. Yeah, you just got to speak the car's language or understand its language, right?
Be a car whisperer.
And go with it. And it's like, you know, like our buddy Jason Camisa talks about the 190 16 valves, and like they're not an E30 M3, right? And people get frustrated because they're not an E30 M3, but you have to like the way that that car wants to be driven, and it's really fun and it's very capable. And it's just a different driving experience,
yep.
Right? And one of the things is the steering. It has a steering box, and that bothers me. But like, I'm fine. I'll deal with it. But it's like not necessarily the kind of. I want something a little more linear. I want something a little more communicative, right off center. You know. But yep. The suspension's also very different. It has a lot of travel, a lot of lean. But you know, you drive it that way, and it's fine, right?
Yeah, Jason and I intentionally, when we went over 229, which is Devil's Driveway, the
roller coaster.
The roller coaster.
Yeah.
He was like trying to get me to pass, and I, for the longest time, just stayed on his ass because I used to own a 190, and we talked about the multi-link rear suspension. I was trying to figure out what it looked like when it was under load.
Nice.
Because it never felt like you didn't have that E30 M3 planted feel.
Right.
It was always like, it felt like it was in transition. Like it was never, you could never get it to set.
Right.
But I don't think I drove one as hard as Jason drove his.
Sure.
And then I think then he let me go in front, and I think he was sorry because I threw rocks at him.
Oh, boy.
So I'm sorry, Jason.
So we have a G2 button. What is that?
Oh, that is hazard lights.
Oh, all right.
And the G2 is on the circuit, the owner's manual, which has the circuit layout.
Yeah.
That's what that circuit is.
Oh, so the ground or something.
The Citroen owner's manual, which, by the way, this is a reproduction. I have the original, and they're so hard to get.
Nice.
But you actually need it for information.
Absolutely. Just by the way, just getting into the car immediately, there's suspension adjustments, height, ride level, the way that the seat belt attaches is unique. I mean, the whole thing is just as you're describing it is could be very foreign to even like the most experienced car person, right? But
turn right at the light.
It's very comfortable. Let's see a kick down here.
So the transmission is really interesting. The car was never designed for an automatic transmission.
We're right here.
Yeah, I'll turn right. We'll go all the way to Harbor and turn right.
Not designed for an automatic transmission, especially on the Maserati V6.
Right. It was. But the thing was, this car came to the United States for 2 years, 72 and 73. Now get this, 72 Motor Trend Car of the Year.
No way.
Which is bizarre. I can't imagine them going, yeah, consumers are going to really get on board with this car. Because this car, so 72, it was a 2.7 liter. 73 was a 3 liter Maserati motor. And it's 180 horsepower. And they were convinced, and rightly so, that the U.S. market would not understand a manual transmission. So they put the 3-speed Borg-Warner. That was like, it was sort of like the European joke for the American market. The Jaguars got it. Like if you look at every luxury brand in the early to mid through the 70s that came to the U.S., they all got a Borg-Warner 3-speed. Even the 928 got the early 928.
Oh, that's right.
Got the Borg-Warner 3-speed.
So right now we're going 20. I'm gonna floor it.
So now the problem is, this is actually, I drove one that had a 3-speed stock. So Jerry figured out the problem with this. There's a little weight in there that's for the governor, and when he does,
I'm sorry, we're right or left here?
No, you can just go straight. Stay in the stand, go straight. So the actually we'll turn right at this light here, and it kind of loops around. So if you shave off so many grams, it will hold the gear as long as you apply the same pedal pressure. The minute you start to lift up a bit, it'll see how it wants to turn really tight.
Yeah. And also, by the way, this is an oval steering wheel.
Oh, that's right. It's oval.
It's fucking oval.
And the horn is the turn signal. You pull the turn signal towards you. So pull it.
Love it.
Very French. So but actually, on the freeway, when you're going, 80 miles an hour, you're at 4,000 RPM, but it doesn't feel like it. And it red lines at 6,500,
which is pretty good back then, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
for a 6-cylinder.
Yeah, and I can feel it just there. I mean, it starts to wind out. Like you can tell the motor likes to be revved, which is an interesting pairing, right? As you're describing, it's kind of a joke. This is interesting.
He just
this guy just. Well, I thought he was setting up to take a picture. I'm like, pretty much.
So we got a Toyota Highlander or whatever that literally just pulled out of a 7-Eleven driveway and parked perpendicular in the road.
Block 2 lanes.
Either to admire your hat.
Probably not my hat.
In the car.
I guess that happens a lot.
Well, what's weird is I drive this 3 or 4 days a week as a daily driver, and you get immune to what you're driving, and you forget until people are going by you, and it's not like a Volkswagen where everyone just wants to smile and give you a thumbs up. They're in awe. They look at you like a freak show.
Yeah, what is this?
And so this morning I'm driving to the office, and I was trying to think, what is it? The Subaru Crosstrek.
Yep. Is
that like the hipster?
It's got some hipster appeal for sure.
So pictures, the guy driving it is the hipster age.
Yeah.
He's got the man bun.
Oh, lovely.
And I swear to God, he's smoking out of a Meerschaum pipe. he's got the white, kind of like my dad had one of those. You know, the white looks like a marble, but it's...
Yeah, I was thinking of the tip that you put on the
it's like a full
pipe,
pipe. And and this is the reaction I get. I don't get a thumbs up. I don't think they have time to process that. They're just he's looking at it and he's trying to get his brain around it.
Yeah.
He's going, and then I literally go to Target in this, and I'll go to Target, and I've heard, is that like a new car? Like
is that like a new car?
And so then I think about you guys talking about the shitty C-pillars and the funky, weird stuff. And I'm like, I can see where they're coming from if your whole life is...
I guess so.
If you're used to Priuses with these hard angles.
Totally, like one of the Mirai or something. It's so out there. So what's parts availability like for something like this?
Turn left if you can.
Let's see if the Suburban... Gotcha.
We'll turn left here. So parts...
I mean, have they been needed at this point? Like, how's this car?
Yeah, actually, I needed valve cover gaskets.
Okay, wow.
And there's
Maserati though, right?
Yep, and lower valve cover gaskets. I was driving to work one day and it just started barreling smoke out on the left front tire. Just a ton of smoke, and I could see the oil dripping. Turned out to be lower valve cover gaskets, and there's a dismantler in San Diego. So here's the thing: is they brought a total of 2,000 Citroen SMs to the U.S. They were, guess how much this car was new?
In 73.
73. That was just before inflation. Give you an idea. My dad bought a 240Z brand new in 73 for $3,500.
I imagine this was ridiculously expensive. 12 grand.
Close, 14.
14, holy crap.
So that's CSL.
Wow.
That's more than a Dino. A 73 RS is 12 grand.
No freaking way.
So
Damn.
what happened was the majority of these were corporate leases for the executive.
Yeah.
And then when they got sold the second time, which was the lease, after the lease expired on the 72, 73, the 2 years they imported these, the dealerships were gone. They had already pulled out of the U.S. market. So they just became like, usually they were Renault dealers, Peugeot dealers, Volvo, all the weird Fiat brands, and they would just literally take them and just, go secondhand. They get dumped, and so a lot of parts were left.
What were the total production numbers worldwide?
About 11,000 produced from 70 through 75. The last year one had fuel injection, which you go, oh, cool, fuel injection, but that's the least desirable because there are literally no parts for the fuel injection.
I see.
It was a unique.
I'm also happy to report that I have no gas smells, and it's a carbureted car. So
that's right, triple Webers.
Triple Webers. I would never guessed.
Because it doesn't feel like it. that's like the passive aggressive. Your car is slow.
It's like it feels like a 2-barrel something rather. Yeah. So left here.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go left. Stay in this lane.
Yep.
You'll get onto the freeway, and then stay in this lane because we're gonna merge to 73, which is a nice. It's a 40-mile-an-hour rated sweeper. I mean, in a Porsche, I'll do it 100.
Nice.
So you can kind of see what. It actually handles high-speed turns well, but the hardest thing is just being cognizant of the weird steering.
Yeah, and also just kind of compensating. You have to let it settle. I can see it has a lot of lean, right? So it has it's just.
Well, here's the thing about the lean. It's exaggerated because, like the steering that wants to always go straight, it always wants to be level. So when you're going through a turn, you saw the delay when I got in and out of the car.
Oh, so it pumps it up.
So it's pumping it up, but by the time it pumps it up, the turn's done. So it. Just stay in this lane, yeah. So what happens is you get this over-exaggerated lean, and then plus we're sitting in seats that look like they came from Clockwork Orange, which have no support. They look like a 70s therapist. Tell me about your mother kind of.
I'm about to start it, yeah.
So see, you go to the right.
Alrighty. So
it's 50 miles. It's 50 miles. Yeah, we're gonna go through this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it turns from 50 to 40.
And the CTS over there is already slamming on his brakes.
Yeah, because it's.
So we're gonna do 60. So just cruising. Oh, this is fine. Yeah, we can.
It's fine on this, but the tight, twisty stuff.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, it's gotta be super weird. Is it really understeery? I feel like it wants to understeer.
I'm afraid to find out. Which, knowing to me, when I will drive a car through, I am really.
Yeah.
I don't know where the threshold is, but I kind of have this fear of finding out.
Yeah.
So this is actually apropos. Tomorrow is Bastille Day.
Oh, there you go.
So we're driving a French car for the celebration of the French freedom.
This is our contribution and solidarity. There you go. So this is a car that's. I see that you have the AutoKennel plates. You have a consignment business. Is this car for sale?
No, it's what we call part of the permanent collection.
Oh, very nice. So is this your personal car then?
Yeah.
Is that what we call it?
Personal car. I daily drive. Let's see. We're gonna get off at MacArthur in a mile. So I have 3 daily drivers that I rotate between. Which the funny thing is, for being primarily air-cooled Porsches, I have this. I have an 84 928 and a 2003 Jaguar S-Type R. And in my opinion, my definition of a daily driver is air conditioning, automatic, power windows.
Yeah, especially the kind of stuff you're doing. You're in the greater LA, you're in Orange County.
Orange County, and it just, people fly in all the time going, hey, where do we go for cool roads? And it's like an hour.
Yeah, no doubt. It makes perfect sense. I'm just really, really impressed by, how comfortable it is to drive at moderate speeds.
So watch the cars go in the suspension. Keep going.
Yeah. That is insane.
Like you can see them moving their suspension, so there's a swell there.
Right?
Yeah, if you can.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, you hear about it, but to experience it really is amazing. Seriously, it's so nutty. It basically deletes.
It takes away the imperfection.
It's like that image that you have of just the car traveling and the suspension doing the work and the body staying kind of static.
But it's not wafting.
No.
It's hard to. It's like describing Jell-O to someone who's never eaten it before. Like, I can't tell you what it's like.
What's going on. It's so like that right there. That was really.
That would unsettle if you were going through a 911 back on the freeway.
Already.
Try to take you places where there aren't a ton of people.
Which you're being very successful at so far, because it's we're
Actually, I got a better idea. We'll go down here. We'll go all the way down here. And I'm going to give you a taste of the Orange County version of the French Riviera.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, is this Palos Verdes or something? Or?
No, Palos Verdes is north.
Or further south.
No, most people, even in Orange County, don't know this road exists, and you'll see why.
Already.
I don't want to oversell it.
Okay. I like it.
But it's definitely a weird road, and it's one way.
These guys, and this material is like this brushed aluminum on the dashboard.
Yeah, it's all over here. It's like a rose gold. I'm afraid to clean it because it's almost like a 911 Target top that has a very specific grain to it.
Yeah, and you don't want to put any kind of weird cleaner on it and tarnish it, but it looks really intact. I mean, it's pretty advanced for the time, I'd say. Look at that little growl.
It's 0 to 60 in 9 seconds.
I'm very surprised to hear that. I was gonna say maybe 13-ish,
but well, that's also turn left. But that's also 40 years ago.
Oh yeah. How many? Oh, so 67,000.
The original miles.
Let's go through this. All right, let's see how this goes. Little squeal.
I'm curious on the video. Do we? I'm trying not to over-exaggerate. Against the window. So we're gonna go a ways, then we're gonna turn right.
This is so cool, man. This is an awesome daily driver, by the way. I mean,
so just try to picture like doing this on a coastal racetrack. What would this be like,
dude? I mean,
what was the guy in the Camaro that was drag set up? Was it Joe?
Oh yeah, you'd be cruising with Joe. Yeah.
I was thinking that when he was describing his experience, I'm like, dude, you and I would be rolling together.
That would be it. Yeah, his car literally like can't freaking turn under like above 35 miles an hour. It's insane. I mean, it's set up to go very, very straight, very fast.
That's Orange County. Yeah, we'll go. Yeah, I can go around. We're gonna turn right in about a half mile. That's very Orange County.
Yep. So it's
what is that?
488 Spider.
You know, after 550 Maranello, I can't tell anymore. Like I have just a bunch of shit numbers. Yeah, at the top of this hill, we're turning right.
Okay.
So you can.
So yeah, I mean, like that type of stuff. Somebody put up a meme. You know what that is, right?
Oh yeah.
So someone threw up a meme
turn right where this guy's
on Instagram
going.
recently, and it was like, this could apply to many, many different cars, but it was like a crowd of guys, like, you know, like sort of younger frat-looking dudes, just sitting there, serious face, and above their heads it reads like modern supercars or something like that. Like when I see a modern supercar, and it's just like some bored dudes like sitting in class, you know.
Yeah.
And then when I see a 1980s Corolla, and everyone's like jumping out of their seats, like throwing shit, you know, like it's like a huge celebration, you know. And this road is very interesting. This stuff, dude, that is so weird. So we just went over this sort of bumpy section, and I felt like that was very boat-like.
So this is the Orange County version of the Riviera. We're turning right. It is one lane, and it's sort of a bike lane.
All right.
So this time of day, there shouldn't be a lot
sort of a bike lane.
Well, you'll see people walking, and if you go too fast, it's great because you get these bumps that you can't go fast.
Yeah.
But you'll get guys. You be careful. They might go slow down. We'll see.
Yeah.
I get like these, you know, the real housewives of Orange County walking here and telling me to slow down.
Even in this thing, huh?
I haven't done it in this thing. This is the first time it's been on the Riviera. So I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but we're obviously right on the harbor.
Yeah. This is, it's very, very appropriate. We're kind of floating along here. So we can't go around this guy.
Yeah, we got Greg LeMond.
So yeah, it is. I did see multi-use, right? So it's got the...
But this is the only direction we can go with cars.
Oh, really? Oh, with cars.
Yeah. People are biking and walking. I've come here before when there's no one on there, and you just kind of do a nice little...
This is like, besides without the imperfections, this would be a perfect little go-kart deal. We'll go around John Lamont and see what it says. All users, 15 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Oh,
here we go.
What the? Oh, I'm scared. Dude, it is so bizarre.
You feel your sphincter tightening because you know it's gonna be.
Dude,
it's gonna be bad.
It is incredible. How often? I mean, do these fail a lot? These suspensions?
Oh, I'm sure. It's French.
I mean, it's got to be complicated as hell, right?
When we get back, we'll open. You can videotape the engine bay. It's.
I've seen all the diaphragms.
Every time the funniest thing is one of my Porsche BMW mechanics, old school mechanics.
Yeah.
I was at the guy worked doing the 928 motor. I went to his shop. He's from Sweden. Worked on Renaults, everything. I opened his hood and he's like, holy fuck. And his like apprentice is looking at it. He's like, you can just see like his eyes getting wider. He's like, Oli, are we working on this car? He's like, no.
We're just looking.
We're just looking.
I mean, I've seen it. Yeah, it's got like this shaft that juts out, and then it's
a camshaft coming off the motor,
and
it drives all the accessories. You drive the pumps for the suspension, which is a hydraulic fluid in a 5-gallon reservoir, and it gets pumped in these little cylinders, and then you've got
there go some bumps.
Oh, here we go.
Dude, it's like a freaking tugboat or something. It's over.
But you realize, I mean, if you were behind me in your old 2002,
I would have to slow way the fuck down.
Yeah,
I mean, there's like no way I would be.
That would be less than 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, for sure. It's amazing.
Yeah, so it's driving off of that cam, all the accessories, the air conditioning pump, everything that drums the brakes, the suspension, the steering, which is all controlled by the hydraulic fluid. So it's.
So do you know how much hydraulic fluid this thing takes?
5 gallons. Because there's a 5-gallon drum. It's literally a 5-gallon drum.
And is it like Pentacin or something like that? Is it like?
I bought this stuff. It just says LF fluid. I Googled Citroen. I looked at the thing. So inside there's actually a can. It's a vintage can. I don't actually use it.
Yeah.
But it's designed to hold about 2 quarts in the engine bay as an extra, just to fill up.
Yeah.
And there's a light on the dash that I learned will come on when it gets a little low. It comes on dim, so you go, okay, it's getting. I mean, all the gauges are these ovals. There's 3 ovals. One's a speedometer with your odometer.
Yeah.
And if you look at the needle's weird. It actually bends out. There's a bevel to the gauge, and the needle, instead of just going straight across, which would have been the easiest way, it follows the bevel. They could not have picked a more complicated
needle. So what's happening
needle.
here is we've got the shaft, and just the tip is bent. That's what he's
Just the tip is bent. And then you have obviously your tachometer, and then you have another oval, and it's like if you're familiar with 993s where they had the one gauge that had all the indicator lights around it. It literally has probably a dozen indicators. Oh, turn left. It has a dozen indicators that do everything from the handbrake on to the defrost, the rear defrost. See that? That's just the gas light. That's the gas is low just because we're turning and accelerating. There's literally, what's the trip meter say? 147.
Yep.
The range is 350.
Oh, okay.
It's a 24-gallon tank.
Sizable.
So then this button is the antenna. We're gonna turn left here. You're in a good place. So look at the electric antenna goes up, and it's not just an antenna. It is like a sailing mast.
It is epic.
And then.
Yeah, so Paul had a little incident with. Did you get in a fight with a bottle? Is that what happened? Yeah.
Gluten-free beer.
Gluten-free beer.
It's dangerous shit.
The one that's supposed to actually be safe, right? Yeah. That's the one that fucked you up. So we had a little technical difficulty earlier, and the GoPro stopped right when we deployed the antenna, the mast for the Citroen SM. So just wanted to wrap it up here. Very interesting, freaky car. I think that. It is still actually a very good value, believe it or not. And I'm sure I'll discuss it on the podcast.
I hope so.
They're amazing cars, sense of occasion through the roof, and it is definitely a car that you want to have someone or some people to actually rely on for parts. But Paul mentioned that stuff is actually readily available. The people are still around that have hoarded the parts, and that makes it a very usable car. And I had a ton of fun driving it. It's definitely not a sports car by any means, but I mean, it's still super cool. It just oozes like fun and in a weird way. Everything is super eccentric and bizarre. Nothing is conventional on this damn thing, but that's what makes it super special, and it's really cool. Thanks a ton for letting me drive it, Paul. And
thanks for doing it.
And we'll have to have you on the show.
Actually, did really well.
I did.
Did very well because the only two other people have driven it besides me. And they almost drove into a curb when they went around a right-hand turn because they overcorrected for it. So
yeah, you definitely. The steering is very, very unique. I've never driven anything like that. You definitely have to have both hands on the wheel at all times when you're turning, and really kind of get it back on center. And you literally drive the car the entire time. That's what I feel like it is. Unless you're driving on the freeway, and then you can chill. But when you're actually going through turns, it wants you to basically dictate and direct it exactly where you want it to be. It's not like it's a totally different, unique thing. So super cool stuff. Yeah, so expect this to go up, and we'll throw it up. Maybe a little Patreon bonus thing.
Yep.
See what's up. So AutoKennel, check these guys out. Paul does consignment for really, really cool rad cars. He's hypercritical, like maybe borderline lane. That's definitely as critical as I am. He looks at all the details. Like this little 911E just came in, really pretty. Drove out from Arizona. Literally drove out from Arizona just now. So yeah, cool stuff. Check them out at AutoKennel and AutoKennel.com.
Yep.
Later.